In today's Leeds news, Gray attracting interest, West Ham blame Potter for DCL failure, the importance of the number 4, the Leeds running statistics, and is SCR better than PSR for Leeds? Hey folks, welcome to the Leeds View for Thursday the 26th of February with your Leeds United news. Jay here, hope your week is going pretty well so far. We're starting to get ready and ramp up for the weekend's action against Manchester City. We'll have a watch along over on BigUp.com. Completely free to come and join us over there to share the game with us. There's no ads, you can get involved for absolutely nothing. If you do want to enter the predictions, by the way, that is open and available for everyone that would like to do it every single week, so you can get over and get involved in that if you want to. There's a bit of stuff to get stuck into today, but if you could like and hype the video, that would be massively appreciated today as we head into the weekend. But there's a bit of stuff to get stuck into. There will be a Daniel Farke press conference. I'm pretty sure it's today, so we will cover the reaction to that over on BigUp.com. Interested in Isaac Johnson's question to Daniel Farke about the least concession of goals so late in games. So if he gets a chance to ask that question, it'll be an interesting one to see. But we'll start off with Harry Gray and attracting more interest. Harry Gray is getting much needed senior minutes right now, albeit with a struggling Rotherham United side. And while it might not be going the way he wants it to go in front of goal just now, he is getting massively important senior minutes under his belt, which is the major part of this loan in the first place. But Gray has continued to attract interest on his loan at Rotherham United, and manager Matt Hanshaw has said that they're getting a huge amount of scouting requests every single week to watch Harry Gray play. Despite only 2 goals so far this season, Hanshaw is very happy with Harry Gray's performances, and chance creation is a huge part of scoring goals. And in the last match out against Bradford, Rotherham's goalkeeper had a higher XG than any of the players out on the pitch, which is a very hard statistic to wrap your head around for anyone. But Hanshaw is very happy with Harry Gray's performances so far for the club, and he's talked about him playing and the interest in him so far this season. There were a few eyebrows raised when a 17-year-old kid came here. Leeds fans think an awful lot of him, and I know there's a lot of media hype around him, and we must get 60 scout requests every single week. He's a big talent with a big future. Hanshaw went on to talk about the fact that Harry Gray hasn't always played in the out-and-out number 9 position, but he also talked about the impact that he has had on his performances since he has gone to Rotherham United so far this season. And on that, he said the following: he plays as a 9.5, a 10, and an 11 deep lying forward. He's a good footballer, isn't he? We tried to give him a bit of a license to go into those pockets and get on it. When he gets into those pockets and when he gets on the half turn, it's great. There were times where I would like to have seen him come wider, and there were times where I'd like him to go inside more. And there are little bits that he just needs to learn, and that's why Leeds have obviously entrusted us with his development. It's great to get that level of detail from the Rotherham United manager on exactly how the loan is going. We always look at the statistics and the data, and it's not everything when it comes to a player's loan. It's what he's getting out of this loan and how his game is improving. So it's really interesting to see that with 60 scouting reports a week, or scouting requests every single week to watch Harry Gray. So yeah, Leeds are going to want to put a bigger contract in front of him at some point. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, great interest so far, and we'll keep an eye on them. They've got a tough task, Rotherham, of getting out of trouble. They just managed to get out of the relegation zone and have gone on an awful run of results that have seen them 5 points away from safety. So, but the most important thing right now, 14 games left for Harry Gray, is to get as many minutes as he can and to continue to add to his game. Let's move on. Let's talk about a West Ham and DCL story that popped up today. I mean, this is very much a Leeds United adjacent story, but West Ham may be the form side in the bottom half of the Premier League and may very well get out of trouble. I would fully expect them to get out of trouble looking at their performances and results in recent weeks, assuming they don't get any major injuries to them. But this story popped up today, and they're not happy with the former manager Graham Potter and have outrightly blamed him on missing out on Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the summer. As we know, Calvert-Lewin has talked at length about his summer options, and he had plenty of clubs who were said to have interest in him. Manchester United, Newcastle, several sides on the continent were all said to be keeping an eye on him before he chose Leeds United. But now, according to the Telegraph, West Ham United were very keen on bringing Calvert-Lewin to the London Stadium in the summer, and they now blame directly Graham Potter for missing out. And the report from a senior ranking West Ham board member said the following: yes, we regret not signing Calvert-Lewin, especially on a free transfer, but Mr. Potter didn't want a forward and would not let us sign or buy one. Nuno came in and immediately identified that he wanted 2, and it has helped us massively. West Ham's loss is very much Leeds United's gain right now, and if depending on the last 11 games of the campaign go. If his goals keep Leeds up and West Ham go down, a big talking point for their fans. But he's a Leeds player and he's doing great for Leeds, and long may that continue. Let's move on. Let's talk about the importance of that number 4 shirt. It doesn't mean a lot to everybody, but it does to a few people. And Ethan Ampadu has given an excellent and insightful interview on the Leeds United podcast this week and is keenly aware of the importance of the jersey he wears and the number on that jersey on his back. Every club has a special number related to their history and players who wore it. And for Leeds, it's always been the number 4 shirt. And it goes back to Billy Bremner, but lots of players have worn it with significance over the years. There have been some misses along the way as well. Scott Wootton and the drama around him being given the shirt one year. But Ethan Ampadu was very, very aware of the importance of that shirt to the fan base, and he said the following on the topic. You have to embrace the history of it. I can't be in those conversations at all. Leeds fans are really good at making you aware of how big a club it is and how important certain players and numbers are. You want to make it your own as well, but you do have to respect everyone who has played and worn it before you. You know you have to put a lot of hard work in, and I still have a long way to go, but I want to do just as well as those before me. There's always a level of humbleness to Ethan Ampadu when he talks, and I really, really enjoy that. There's not really an arrogance there. He's very confident in his own ability, but at the same time, he talks about constantly trying to improve and get better and, you know, not being at the level of players that wore that shirt before, but wants to get there. And I love that because it shows growth and it shows a player that's keenly aware of himself and very, very self-aware. So it's massive. You go back to the likes of Billy Bremner, David Batty, Olivier Decor, Peter Lormer, who've worn the number 4 shirts over the years. And then even at times, John Charles and Don Reevy wore the shirt. We actually do sell a number 4 inspired t-shirt and jumper. You can check out on Back 4 Clothing's on screen there. That features the names of the players that wore the number 4 shirt. Even Scott Wootton, he's even on that number as well. So there you go. But yeah, it's interesting. I love it. History matters to me. And I know it matters to a lot of people around the club. So it's great to see that Ethan Ampadu has leaned into that and gets it. So great stuff. Let's move on. Isaac Johnson spoke to Opta Index to get a bit of a deeper understanding of the Leeds United running stats for this season. And Leeds have ran the most of any side bar one in the Premier League this season. And Daniel Farkas pointed to the fact that if you don't possess the individual quality on the pitch, then you have to outwork your opponents. And Leeds have done that more often than not this season. And maybe that's part of the reason Leeds are conceding so many late goals, is the effort they have to put in to get to the level of some of the sides they're playing in the Premier League this season. You just run out of a bit of steam towards the end. But Opta director of analytics, Johnny Whitmore, told Leeds Live the following on how the stats stack up, and more important, the context behind those statistics, what they mean, where they are. It's not just running stats, it's the type of running and where that running is done. And he said the following. It's an interesting mix stylistically. Arsenal ranked 3rd in their running, but theirs is getting the ball back and recycling possession from side to side, whereas actually Leeds is more about out of possession. So maybe Leeds' possession numbers are lower than the likes of Manchester United and Arsenal, but it's their intensity to win the ball back, possibly in a slightly different way. Despite Daniel Farke's preference to play a possession-based football, he is a possession-based manager. He talks about it a lot, wanting to have the ball and dictate the game. He's had to change the style this season to get the best out of this Leeds United side, and they've the 6th lowest in terms of possession in the Premier League, and their sprints are in the top half, but it's not the sprints that are Leeds' key numbers. It's actually the distance that they cover throughout the 90 minutes. The shift in tactics that Leeds implemented at half-time in the Manchester City game that has seen the whole season turn around has leaned into those strengths that Leeds have, and Leeds have had to put far more effort in. And Daniel Farke ideally might want to play more possession-based football, and if he gets a chance this summer, he'd probably want to bring in more player profiles that fit that style of play and eventually start to move back to his preference. But right now, Leeds are playing the style they need to play to be successful and stay in the league. It doesn't matter as long as you stay in the Premier League, at least right now, until we can get ourselves established, and that's important. The style will come over time. It's not been unexciting though at times. Like, even though we are playing a slightly more direct approach, it's been pretty exciting at times. So yeah, not against it at all. Let's move on and talk about everyone's favourite sexy conversation. It's SCR and PSR and what it actually means for Leeds United heading into next season. The new squad cost ratio model, or SCR, comes into existence this summer, and it will replace Profit and Sustainability, or PSR. And Leeds United did vote in favour of passing this one, as they, along with lots of clubs in the lower and mid half of the Premier League, believed that the current PSR model restricted promoted sides and sides in the bottom half of the table when it came to trying to invest in this side. Leeds did, though, want to make changes to the SCR model before the vote was held on it, but they didn't get the chance to do that. The vote was held and it passed and went through, and from this summer on, SCR will come into place. But there are some significant differences between SCR and PSR. And the question is, and it was asked for Leeds Live today, is SCR better for Leeds United than PSR? And these are the kind of key things that you need to know about the SCR model versus PSR. The SCR changes the focus from allowable losses to allowable spending, and under PSR, clubs could lose £105 million over a 3-year period. It was a lot less if you were promoted to the Premier League. Like Leeds last season could only spend, I believe it was like 85 million. I had to invest more money in order to get up to the £100 million mark. Financial periods will now be assessed over a 12-month period rather than PSR's 3-year rolling period. Under PSR, promoted sides were far more hamstrung due to the fact that they had revenue from the Championship to be taken into consideration. Under SCR, clubs will be allowed to spend up to 85% of their revenue on squad costs, and that includes players' wages, manager contracts, agent fees, and transfer amortization payments are now included in that as well. What's not included? Marketing, finance departments, academy, and infrastructures are all not included in that. So that's why Elland Road's redevelopment isn't dependent on Leeds United staying in the Premier League. It's not included in that, and it's a separate pool of invested cash. There is a clear points deduction threshold now in place, so we will now know the penalties beforehand rather than have to sit around and wait to see if somebody gets a penalty financially or whether they get a points deduction. So for this, there will be a 6-point penalty deduction if you breach the red line, and then you will get an additional 1 point for every single £6.5 million you go over that limit. So you'll know exactly once the reports are published of what penalties each club will get. And this apparently, according to experts, is a much harder model for clubs to breach. Although the PSR reports came out for this season or last season, and no Premier League side has breached PSR. So that's a first, I think, in a while. But the clubs will be monitored throughout the course of a season, similar to the Championship, where you get that kind of nudge halfway through the year of, look, you're in danger of potentially breaching this, so you might want to sort your house out before we hit you with a points deduction towards the end of it. But Leeds, in this situation, might be slightly worse off, according to Leeds Live, but better off in the longer term. And I'm not exactly sure that is the case, and someone will tell me I'm wrong on this, and that's absolutely fine. If you've got the detail, let me know the detail. But rather than the 3-year period, Leeds have taken 2 years of Championship revenue plus 1 year Premier League revenue, where with this model, Leeds will be able to work off their revenue they've got right now, which is higher without that deductions. And again, I could be slightly wrong on that one, but yeah, someone will hold me to account on that. But it's an interesting one. There is also a £30 million one-off buffer at the start of this as well. So if Leeds did want to spend a little bit of extra cash on a player, that's included. You don't have to do it, and you can push that down the line for a couple of years, but it does only exist within the first 3 years. So it's there. Spend it if you can. But yeah, we'll get more detail on this. There will likely be a strong talking point going into the summer transfer window as well, and we'll see how we get on. And we will have as I say, a reactions to Daniel Farke's press conference over on bigup.com about 3 o'clock today. And we will have the podcast out tonight for you to talk and look ahead to the Manchester City game this weekend. Outside that, if you want to get involved in the predictions game, you can as well. And don't forget, we've got a 8% off code with OK jerseys for World Cup shirts for World Cup summer. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you later on. See ya. Bye.